Hi everyone, it's Dr. Lalitaa here. This is an episode all about expectations. So when I say expectations, first of all, what do I mean by expectations? Expectations is when we have an image in our heads of what we think something should be like. And sometimes this happens at a subconscious level. So we may not even be aware that we have these expectations in place. So I'm going to relate these expectations to relationships. Imagine if you have a relationship with a partner, for instance, and with this partner, you're always doing things to help this partner out. You're always doing things to ensure that this partner is happy. Now, one day you decide that you come back from work and you're quite tired. You're really, really tired. You're exhausted, and you come home and you're quite on edge anyway because you've had a long day. You're tired. And you come home and you're expecting, oh, you know what, my partner's going to make me some food, or my partner's going to ask me if I would like a drink or something. And you come home and your partner doesn't ask that. And then you're like, I can't believe he didn't ask me that. And rather than taking a step to reflect about the expectation and what's actually going on in the situation, you might snap at him and think, just go away from me, leave me alone. Or you might say something else to him. Now, as you're doing that, what's gone on there is that you're reacting to an emotion that you're feeling. Now, if you don't understand what you're feeling, you know that there is something that's going on within you, but you haven't communicated that across because you haven't communicated it with yourself. So what happens? So you've now reacted to an emotion that you're unaware of. And that comes from an expectation of, I really wanted my partner to just care for me, to look after me, to make sure that I was okay because I had a long day, because that's the way that that's the way I would have treated him. So what you've done is you've created an image in your head of how you thought or how you think that this relationship should work, but it didn't work that way. And that's often what tends to happen with expectations. They say expectations is sometimes like the biggest relationship breakdown, because we create in our heads ideas of how things should be, of how relationships should be formed, of how people around us should act, but then they don't act that way. And we're left feeling, I can't believe they did that. But it's not their fault and it's not your fault. It comes down to the expectations. It comes down to the images that we've created in our heads of how things should be. And again, you may not even be aware of these expectations that you have of other people. Let me give you an example at work, for instance. At work, you might think that you want to be promoted to the next level. So you're doing everything in your power to keep doing and giving and giving and giving to work with the intention that I'm going to be promoted. So you've already felt that you want to be promoted, so you're doing everything, and then you're not promoted. And that can leave you feeling really disappointed, really angry, really, really annoyed that you had spent so long and so much of your energy. And that again comes back down to an expectation that we create, but we also attach emotions to this expectation. And when we attach emotions to an expectation, we then feel a sense of like, wow, it's going to be amazing if I get promoted, and it's going to be amazing if I'm in a new job, and people are going to say, wow, you've worked really hard. So we create these thoughts in our mind of how this expectation is going to change our lives. And because we've already lived that expectation, that can also be quite that can also be quite difficult for us to manage, because we've created an image of the future that isn't actually the future, if that makes sense. So it's really important that we understand expectations. Let me give you another expectation. It's with family, for instance. Say if someone's come to you and someone's asked you for money, and you've been giving them money, you'd be like, yeah, I can lend you this, I can lend you this. And then one day you need money. So you reach out and you ask your family members for money, and everyone says no. Everyone says, no, I don't have any money for you. I can't give you any money. I'm really tied up this week with my own family. And you're feeling really disappointed, really perhaps angry, really saddened, because you're someone who does everything for someone else. But when it comes to you, it hasn't happened the way that you wanted it to. And you've always expected in your head, I treat people like that, so people will treat me like that. And the thing here is that I want you to take away is that the way you treat people isn't the same as how people are going to treat you, because everyone's going to come from their own experiences. Everyone's going to be coming from their own beliefs, from their own value systems. And yeah, you may be someone who's a big giver, but what does that say about you as well? If you're constantly giving, don't give to expect something in return. When you're giving, come from a place of love. Give with love without the intention of wanting something back. Because by doing that, what you're doing is you're creating, or you're helping yourself stay quite healthy with the relationships that you have, or with the expectation of other people. And by that, I mean, what you're doing is you're creating a scenario where you're looking after yourself by not attaching yourself to other people. Because when you give, you don't give to receive something back. I mean, you can give from a place of love, and what you're getting in return is that love. So when I talk about expectations, then expectations, like I said, it sometimes is the biggest. People sometimes say it's like the biggest killer of relationships, and that's purely because people expect things, and if you're not able to communicate with that person what you expect, you're expecting something that that person isn't even aware of. But you're creating that expectation based on your own beliefs, based on your own experiences. Going back to the example of when you've had a long day at work and you've come home and you've wanted your partner to just offer you a drink. If you haven't communicated to them after, look, I felt really saddened. I felt really quite sad that you didn't ask me how, if I wanted a drink or I wanted some food. And that for me is important in a relationship. So what you're doing there is you're clarifying with your partner why you were angry, why you were upset, why you were saddened. And that's you communicating with your partner what was going on for you. But before you even get to that point, first you need to communicate with yourself. And that's something I've spoken about in another video, is that communication with yourself and the importance of that in developing a healthy relationship. Another example of an expectation is with friends. Sometimes with friends, we create expectations that, oh, I want to go out today, for instance, and then you ring all your friends and no one's available. But you know that in a heartbeat, someone rings you and you'll be like, yeah, let's go out, let's do this. And then all of a sudden it's your turn and there's no one there. And that makes you feel quite alone. And it can trigger up feelings for you. But then this is where you take and understand, what are these feelings about? So if you're feeling quite lonely, if you're feeling quite saddened that people aren't there for you, what does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean that how have people perceived you then? How is it that people perceive you? Do they perceive you as you're just a giver? Oh, she won't mind, or oh, he won't say anything. And what's that about? So this is the way the real personal development side of things really kicks in, because and it's so exciting, it's so amazing, because you learn so much about yourself. And this is why I tell people, like, don't ever feel like there's ever going to be a bad experience in your life, because there's always something to take away. And life is life at the end of the day. Things are going to happen, things are going to go on, but it's for you to take away and choose how you want to live that life. And with these expectations, is be clear. When you have relationships around you, be clear. What is my intention? What is it that this relationship is bringing for me? What is it from this relationship that I want? What's going on in this relationship for me? So what you're doing there already, you're giving yourself clarity in what a relationship means to you. And that is so amazing, because you're giving yourself an understanding of what's going on here. Yes. So I think that's enough. I've given an example. I've spoken about it, what expectations are. And on that note, thank you guys. Thank you again. And I look forward to speaking with you again. The next video is going to be amazing. I've got so much to share with you guys. So have an amazing day. Take care, and sending you lots and lots of love and blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.